Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: in battered Chinese stocks, traders favor lottery ticket trade. Hong Kong stocks drop as funds show no rush to chase market amid China support. Japan slips to world's fourth largest economy, behind US, China and Germany. Asian stocks rally as tech earnings power gains, markets wrap. Michael Burry adds to China big tech wager as stock rout deepens. In battered Chinese stocks, traders favor lottery ticket trade. South China Morning Post. Wall Street traders are buying options tied to U.S.-listed exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that track Chinese equities in the hope that officials in Beijing can stimulate a recovery. Despite the 60% fall in Chinese stocks from their 2021 peak, some investors believe that the Chinese government will eventually succeed in boosting a rebound, leading them to buy cheap options that offer a potentially large payout. These bets in ETF options show that investors are taking notice of Chinese leaders' efforts to stop the stock market sell-off. Hong Kong stocks drop as funds show no rush to chase market amid China support. South China Morning Post. Japan slips to world's fourth largest economy, behind US, China and Germany. South China Morning Post. Japan has fallen behind Germany to become the world's fourth largest economy, according to government data. Analysts say the figures reflect Japan's declining competitiveness and productivity as the population ages and has fewer children. Japan was previously the second largest economy behind the US until China's economy grew in 2010. The International Monetary Fund had previously forecasted Japan's fall to fourth. Comparisons among economies are based on nominal GDP and do not reflect different national conditions. Japan's nominal GDP totaled $4.2 trillion last year, while Germany's was $4.4 trillion. Michael Burry adds to China big tech wager as stock rout deepens. Bloomberg. Money manager Michael Burry has increased his bets on Chinese tech giants Alibaba and JD.com despite the ongoing rout in Chinese shares. Burry Scion Asset Management increased its stake in Alibaba by 50% and its position in JD.com by 75,000 shares. However, the wagers have struggled to pay off, with Alibaba down 5% year-to-date and JD.com falling almost 20% amid concerns over China's property crisis and slowing growth. Burry has previously bet on the companies, closing out his positions in Q2 2023 before reopening them later in the year. ICBC Asia to combat fraud by doubling down on AI amid rise in scams. South China Morning Post. ICBC Asia, the Hong Kong unit of China's biggest lender, is set to increase its use of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning technology to tackle financial fraud. The bank is doubling down on tech amid a surge in fraudulent activity, which rose 40% in 2018 to 9 billion Hong Kong dollars, $1.15 billion. Scams comprised 44.1% of all crimes reported in the city last year, with cyber-related scams accounting for 70% of this number. ICBC Asia will also focus on educating customers in a bid to reduce their vulnerability to scams. Malaysian Open marks start of exciting year for Asian Tour. South China Morning Post. The Asian Tour's 2024 season is set to be its biggest yet, with officials announcing 6 international series events, an extra stop in Africa and the potential for more events to be added, comfortably exceeding last year's 23 events and $35 million in prize money. the Malaysian Open, which begins this week, is one of 2 events where Open Championship places are available. Asia's SMEs, education and technology sectors in private credit's crosshairs. South China Morning Post. Investment firms and banks are increasingly turning to the Asian private credit market, which currently represents just 5.5% of the global $1.5 trillion private credit market. While Asia accounts for 40% of global GDP, 70% of global economic growth and 60% of the world's population, it is receiving limited supply due to a pullback in bank lending and a lack of public markets options. Small and medium-sized enterprises, education, and the technology sector are being identified as areas of focus for these firms. China seeks anti-money laundering law revision to address virtual asset risks. South China Morning Post. China is set to revise its anti-money laundering (AML) law to combat money laundering with virtual assets. Chinese Premier Li Qiang recently chaired a meeting to discuss a draft amendment to the existing AML law, enacted in 2006. The revision, set to be passed next year, will address new types of money laundering risks, according to legal scholars. Chinese authorities have increased scrutiny of cryptocurrency-related money laundering cases in recent years. Lunar New Year fireworks, even a beloved tradition, can't ignore safety. SCMP opinion. The Chinese government has banned fireworks in many cities to curb pollution and ensure public safety. Many Chinese people are unhappy with the ban and argue that it does not feel like the New Year without fireworks. However, there are concerns about the risks involved in lighting fireworks, such as explosions and fires, and other people's right to dislike them. The author suggests that local governments could have more detailed policies on fireworks, regulating the time, places, and types of fireworks, and that there should be more public awareness campaigns about fireworks safety. For foreign firms in Hong Kong, national security plans bring fresh chill. Al Jazeera. Foreign businesses in Hong Kong are expressing concerns about the new national security legislation being implemented in the city. The legislation, known as Article 23, aims to ban crimes such as treason, secession, sedition, subversion, and theft of state secrets. While the Hong Kong government claims that everyone is in agreement about the need for the legislation, there are growing fears about how it will be enforced and whether it will further align Hong Kong with mainland China. Businesses are worried that the law will impact the city's competitiveness and the ease of doing business. Additionally, there are concerns that the law will adopt mainland China's expansive definitions of espionage, which could hamper companies' ability to gather and share information. Many businesses are already concerned about the tightening atmosphere in Hong Kong, and the new legislation will only heighten their fears. If Hong Kong loses its openness, businesses may begin redirecting investments and hiring elsewhere. Sam Williamson wins Australia's first Doha gold in the pool as Dolphins enjoy stellar night. ABC. Sam Williamson has won Australia's first gold medal in swimming at the World Championships in Doha. He clocked the 4th fastest time in history in the 50 meters breaststroke. Williamson's win capped off a successful night for Australia, with 3 other medals also being won. Elijah Winnington won silver in the 800-meter freestyle, Brianna Throssell won bronze in the 200-meter freestyle, and Williamson joined Throssell in winning a silver in the mixed 4x100-meter relay. Playing God, this labor activist's relentless emails force companies to change. Bloomberg. Andy Hall, a well-known human rights activist, has spent over a decade exposing forced labor and demanding change in Southeast Asia. He uses a confrontational approach, bombarding companies with emails and leaking sensitive information to the press. Hall's tactics have won him both allies and enemies, with some praising his commitment and persistence, while others criticize his methods. However, Hall argues that his urgent approach is necessary to address the urgent issue of forced labor and labor abuses in global supply chains. Hall's confrontational approach has yielded results. He helped expose widespread forced labor in Malaysia's rubber glove industry, costing companies over $800 million in revenue. He also played a role in the investigation of alleged worker mistreatment at ATA IMS BHD, a contract manufacturer for Dyson. ATA's contract with Dyson was terminated after an audit identified issues that the supplier did not address quickly enough. Hall's research also helped pave the way for a legal case by former ATA workers against Dyson, alleging that the company had profited from their mistreatment. While some criticize Hall's confrontational style and question his motives, others argue that his methods are necessary to bring attention to labor abuses and push for change. Hall believes that many nonprofits have lost sight of their purpose and that direct action is needed to address the immediate needs of workers. Despite the controversy surrounding his methods, Hall remains committed to his work and continues to expose labor abuses in Southeast Asia. Palestinians living in U.S. will be shielded from deportation, the White House says. Associated Press. Palestinians living in the U.S. will be protected from deportation as the Israel-Hamas war continues, the White House said on Wednesday. President Joe Biden signed a directive allowing Palestinian immigrants who would otherwise have to leave the U.S. to stay without the threat of deportation. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the protection will last 18 months and would give Palestinians who qualify a temporary safe haven. President Biden's decision follows over 100 Democratic lawmakers calling on the White House to use a similar authority to ensure that Palestinians currently in the U.S. would not have to return to dangerous conditions in Gaza. Timely rule change to help flat buying in Hong Kong's Greater Bay Area. SCMP opinion. New rules that exempt Hong Kong and Macau homebuyers from a daily cross-border remittance cap of 80,000 Chinese yuan, $12,700, when purchasing property in the Greater Bay Area have been welcomed. The move will make it easier for Hong Kongers to own property in Guangdong and will also make it simpler for job seekers and entrepreneurs to buy homes across the border. The new rules are part of wider efforts to promote integration and make capital flows easier in the Greater Bay Area. The area's property market is currently more affordable for Hong Kong buyers due to a slump in the yuan and ailing mainland property market. And that's a wrap for today's news. We covered a range of topics, from the trading strategies of Wall Street investors to the latest developments in Asia's economy and markets. Let's dive into some analysis. In the world of finance, traders are turning to lottery ticket trades in Chinese stocks, betting on a rebound in the market despite recent declines. Meanwhile, Hong Kong stocks dropped as investors showed caution, and Japan slipped to become the world's fourth largest economy. On the brighter side, Asian equities rallied, driven by strong tech earnings and positive economic outlooks. And money manager Michael Burry increased his bets on Chinese tech giants, showing confidence in their long-term potential. In other news, ICBC Asia is doubling down on AI technology to combat financial fraud, and the Asian tour is set for its biggest season yet. Investment firms are also looking to Asian private credit markets, targeting SMEs, education, and technology sectors. China is revising its anti-money laundering law to address virtual asset risks, and the Chinese government has banned fireworks in many cities to ensure public safety, despite public discontent. Foreign businesses in Hong Kong are concerned about the new national security legislation, while Australian swimmer Sam Williamson won gold at the World Championships in Doha. Lastly, human rights activist Andy Hall's relentless emails have forced companies to address labor abuses, and Palestinians living in the U.S. will be protected from deportation during the Israel-Hamas conflict. Phew, that was a lot of news. Now, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What are your ideas on these topics? Do you agree with the trader's lottery ticket strategy in Chinese stocks? Are you concerned about the new national security legislation in Hong Kong? Let's discuss. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.